All right, welcome back. Breon Terrace is going to be game number 1 for this best of 3 here in the Corsair Cup. Quick reference, guys, if you want to help support us and you want to check out Corsair Gear both at the same time, scroll down in our info section and click on those links. It lets Corsair know you came from BaseTradeTV. Thank you to Transistan, Goat Prophet, and any other subscriber that we've missed resubbing you guys, and resubbing is very important to us. But I have to kind of get through this quickly because we've got some shenanigans already going down. In the bottom right side, it is going to be the purple Terran player, Lillekanin.
The top left as the orange Zerg, it's Elazer.
Now, Lillekanin is going to be proxying racks, so I'm imagining his Reapers. There's not a lot of variety when it comes to things like this. But T-Wave, quickly to recap everything, donated $12 and says, I'm blue, have a D, have a die, blue hair for Zombie Grub. God, that song. That song.
You see a music video for it?
So fucking weird, right? Like, that's what I was going to
Yeah.
get into next.
Okay, well good. Yeah, like that music video makes no sense. But I guess the song is also like nonsensical, so that's fine. Very important to note here. We did have the proxy 2 racks, which is like, oh, what a surprise. I mean, it's Breon Terraces, it's a TVZ, it's a Lillekanin. Everything adds up to basically Elazer, please play a little bit safe. And he did. He went for a pull first, pull gas, and he's adding on a Roach Warren, like, almost blind. Yeah, blind. Which, if Lillekanin was going for, like, a regular build, he could have used aggressively, so... But it is going to have to be used defensively. It's not a 2x Reaper. Oh, my bad.
I thought it was going to be Reapers too. I'm actually surprised. I was going to say the other aspect of this, though, is that Reapers can beat Roaches. Just going to hide in the bunker, get that Marine over. I guess it's not a bad choice. Anyways, the bunker sets up, but not a great spot. It will need another bunker advance forward before that creep spreads out too far. So he's unfortunately a little bit shy on cash right now, but he does need to get another bunker down if he wants to really pressure Elazer in the situation. I mean, Marines out of bunker can reach the hatchery, obviously, but they're not going to be able to continue fighting it. That's the problem when it comes to these Roaches. And he's got to have an idea, like, what is Elazer doing behind this? Obviously, if you haven't seen 6 or 7 Lings at this point, he sees the first Roach even, kind of has to know, like, okay, this is going to be a little bit more dangerous than perhaps initially anticipated. In fact, Ravagers coming down are really great for breaking bunkers, but more importantly, hitting the SCVs on the backside of the bunker, repairing them.
It's like you're saying more impotently.
More impotently. If I was British, I guess I could get away with it more impotently.
So, okay, the Ravagers should still be able to deal with this. It's not a lot of Ravagers, so the Corrosive Bile is like, it's not like one after another, which is like a little bit problematic, because the Lillekanin could do some really fancy footwork, but he's not really doing that fancy footwork, to be honest.
Oh,
I mean,
tank drops to follow this, by the way.
Thing is, though, like the tank drops are fine because I think these are need them on the defense. Once the bunkers are broken, the Roaches and the Ravagers are going to look for the barracks, and they're going to go to the other side of the map and see if they can do anything. Elazer has an Overlord scouting a lack of a natural right now.
You know, they might actually skip looking for the barracks and just go straight across. It is Breon Terraces after all, and you don't need to worry about that, especially if they're floating home. It'll take too long, but either way, with a medevac and a tank paired up, he should be fine either way, whether he wants to bring it across the map or use it at home. Really just chip away at this hatchery. This is the problem with the bunker. Seriously, like 1 grid space too shy, guys, of being able to reach this. Otherwise, this hatchery would be already dead, forcing on some micro out of Lillekanin from these very low Marines.
This is where the range of the Ravagers is also pretty nice for actually hitting these Marines, because obviously the Corsair Bile is going to be dodged, but they kill a couple, just Lillekanin miss micros every now and then. And Elazer is consistently getting Roaches. Like, it sucks he's not mining off of a gold base, but neither is Lillekanin. You know, it could be funny if he had transferred his workers, but the bunkers do break. The Marines are going to die no matter what. I mean, maybe like one of them gets home. So the tank drop is a necessity both for to continue attacking, like not let Elazer just skyrocket here, but also, first and foremost, like defending against a Roach push.
There's a bit of a supply block behind this too, which is why the medevac is so heavily delayed. Now, I don't know. I get this thing where you remember there's that episode of Futurama where they're going to the books and stuff with the giant brain and all that, and Leela's like all dumb and she's like, "Is there a Mrs. Queequeg?"
Yes, I do remember.
Every time you say Miss Micro, I always want to just think like, "Is there a Mr. Micro?" Anyways, the barracks are going to be picked up and floated home, so it looks like he did quote-unquote waste time looking for them. Can this tank and medevac combo do enough, though? I mean, the problem with this map, being gold bases and all that jazz, I mean, this is already hard enough to build to stop when it's just a normal game. When you have macro and more units behind this. Lillekanin is literally, his life depends on 2 medevacs and 2 siege tanks. Almost 3 siege tanks.
Well, 2 siege tanks with 2 medevacs as well is, it's kind of like, you know, it's... With perfect micro, you are not going to lose to this, absolutely. And even with imperfect micro, I think you're still going to live. Third tank might be in a little bit of trouble. So I'm medevac for that guy. Fourth tank on the way, and command center started. But this is the second problem. You know, first, defend against the roaches. Second, try and do something to stop Elazer from getting too much of a macro game.
If that hatchery had died, that would have certainly been one of those things that really like blocks his ability to advance forward in the game. I mean, losing a base that's mining gold versus being able to fully saturate a mine for the last minute and a half like he has been. Lillekanin really, like, that bunker placement, I think, I hate to put so much critical acclaim on, like, one aspect of it, but I feel like that one bunker really screwed him out of this game. Like, he had just barely placed it incorrectly. But we have a donation and a resub. First off, $15 from Anon. They say, blue hair, please. Also, you guys are great. Please keep up the good work. So, wow, that's already almost $30 on blue. And then Fox Aurora hits us up with a 13-month resub as well. So shoutouts to that individual.
God, I'm scared. I was already apprehensive that it looked good in any color, but now that Twitch chat is deciding,
I could see you pulling off like a light blue, not a dark blue, but like a light blue.
Is it considered cheating if I only get like
you can't do highlights if that's okay.
Damn.
Damn. Like, what if I only like I dyed one strip? I mean, it was my hair color, not my hair's color.
Like one strand. Dear God, I'm gonna look so stupid on that CSL cast. But at least my suit would look dapper.
Oh my, you're wearing a suit with blue hair and I'm gonna have a stupid ass mustache. It's gonna be the worst. Worst live cast of all time. Alright, so the third base looks like it's almost going to go down. This, unfortunately, is going to be a bit of miscontrol as one of the tanks gets incredibly low, but also Elazer walks most of his units into the other tanks. I guess, you know, it's very common to see Terran players drop 1 to 2 tanks for a bit of harass. It's really uncommon to see 4. And the amount of extra damage this brings definitely caught Elazer off guard. And let's not forget, that hatchery's still low from earlier, so if Lillekanin really wanted to dedicate, I feel like he could snipe that hatchery. He's going to lay into these queens, though. Oh, this is not a good move for Elazer, I feel.
Why is he even bothering is my question. I guess he wants to...
Yeah, there's no point of contention. Like, this is... Oh, pick up that thing?
I guess he wants to preempt so that Lillekanin at least feels a little bit scared, because his Spire wasn't, you know, quite done, but...
What does Lillekanin have in terms of anti-air, though? That's another question.
Well...
It's a small handful of Marines, so not much.
Even at home, okay, so home might be able to be defended by Marines and...
Dirk's gonna kill the tank!
He actually can get missile turrets as an engineering bay, but the tanks, like, most of the medevacs should go down here, even if they boost. In fact, one tank just immediately goes down.
Split, boys.
That's a lot of Mutalisk. That's enough to really lay into a medevac without that boost, and the boost is worn off, so...
He does... I was actually expecting to see double Liberators behind this as the solution, but it's...
Probably should, because he doesn't have anything else except Marines.
Well, what's interesting is this is still not a decided tech path, right? Like, he's gone for Stim, but that doesn't mean he's devoted to Bio. The Engineering Bay, again, unless he goes for +1, just for missile turrets. I mean, the medevacs actually get home alive, which is very, very astonishing. But the Marine count that he has should be able to ward off the current mutas. It's the follow-up of that potential Baneliness that really is scary, and Elazer... smart guy that he is, really isn't leaving a lot of holes open for Lillekanin. Like, okay, he lost that third, and there's a little bit of finagling around the natural, but for the most part, he hasn't made any grave errors in the game so far, and he's not misread the situation at all.
I really wish Elazer would go find those barracks that are still producing. Like, he's gonna be wondering where these Marines are coming from. He's picking off.
All the proxy ones that have just left over. He's like, man, that's a lot of proxy Marines he never sent into my base. Alright, so SCV's trying to get transferred in a little bit early. Not sure that was a great idea.
It was not a good idea. It wasn't at all. Okay. Oh, Stolings. I forgot that he went for Roaches first, so that's a little bit awkward. They're going to have to wait a little while before they really want to push in as Banelings.
These mutas are getting a lot of work done, and Lillekanin's finally going for those Liberators. Had he had the money and the gas to do it sooner, this would have been a much easier defense for him. What I do get worried, though, is as the tanks get picked off, those are what's going to stop the Banelings from catching said Marines. So these mutas, again, like, they're picking off 1 or 2 units here and there, but it's the fact that they are picking off units. In fact, even the Liberator are going to get sniped as he just kind of runs by casually, and Marines can't keep up with it. I would, too. That's the on tilting frustration right there. So first game of the best of 3 will go to Elazer, but man, it kills me. I'm looking at, like, if that bunker had been like 1 grid space closer, I think Lillekanin could have actually devastated the Elazer to the point, like, it took him so long to clean up those 2 bunkers. Like, so long.
Even then, I'm not sure. We've certainly seen enough, even in Heart of the Swarm, 2 Raxes, but Legacy of the Void, 3 Raxes, where the hatchery goes down, but the person still tries to macro out of it.
So here's my butterfly effect take on the situation, right? If that base had not gone up, and he had not been mining, and he still went Roaches and Ravagers, and the tank still came, and he still eventually cleaned them up the way he did, it wouldn't be the amount of mutas that came out. And it would have actually potentially been something manageable. Because that was seriously like 11 or 12 mutas, opposed to what could have possibly been 4 or 5. Like, I don't know.
It's true.
A little too hard to tell. That did fail, though. Let's hope he has a better game 2 ready to go. What's the map for this one?
Arena.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
I wanted to try and get you guys to see that
Apollo
was messing with the other cat.
I just saw him jump up on your bed. That's all I could see in the background.
Yeah, well, Pyro's, like, not having any of it.
Nice.
Get the fuck off.
All right, well, looks like Tefl advances over Snoot, so the winner of this will play against him. Bottom side of the bracket, Tang Tang and Keen are the only non-Zerg remaining. Ugh.
No, they aren't. Tang Tang lost.
Ugh. Okay, we'll get to Arena. I'll see you guys soon. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, I've got it. I figured it out. Zombie Grab, I know what to do.
Uh-huh.
If David Kim won't do anything about Zerg, maybe we can force them all to play with a 10% handicap.
So instead of giving a bonus prize like we were originally thinking for other races, we're just going to cut the legs off of Zergs.
I mean, would you necessarily say it's the worst idea?
I mean, all our Zerg friends, and we have a lot of them, would probably hate us. See, that's the one problem that we have. I feel we just don't talk enough. A lot of our good programmer friends are Zerg, and it's not working out anymore.
No, but in all seriousness, I do wish. The worst part is you really can't pinpoint it because you see Protoss and Terran winning tournaments. So the question is, like, why can't the average Protoss or the average Terran win a tournament? Right? That's what, like, I think a lot of this goes towards. And we talked about before. In all seriousness, no jokes, guys. Like, a big part of this is, I think there's just more Zerg players. Period. Like, it's not that there's Terran are bad, but it's like 1 Terran to every 7 Protoss. You know what I mean? Or sorry, 7 Zerg. They've literally swarmed.
Even when they were doing really well, even when it was like a popular race, because, like, you know, the campaign was Zerg based and beginning a part of the swarm, I don't feel like it's ever been this bad for this long. So it's so odd. But you know, we've been showing it on the camera, but I feel like it was expected. It's obvious, and Elazer certainly anticipated something like this again. But it was a proxy 2-Rax with Marines, abuse the choke, you know, so they don't die preemptively, and the SCVs can, like, get it done and whatnot. And Elazer, he does react differently to this. So his build was roughly the same, full gas first, but he canceled the hatchery and then went for second gas.
But Lillekanin also didn't commit to 2 racks. He didn't throw a bunker down, and it's almost like a fake. Like, the fear of this was what he wanted. He'll throw the barracks down in the middle of the map, and that'll buy him time from Roaches advancing forward. But back at home, he starts a factory up immediately. In Elazer, you know, there's been no necessity to kill a natural base because he never started one. This is really interesting. Really quick, by the way, two donations coming in. One from Svanin, $15, says the hair should be burgundy. I'm assuming he means red. Burgundy's close to red, right? It's like brownish red. And then Higgins donates $5 and says ZG will look awesome in pink hair color.
Maybe. We'll find out.
See, that level of discomfort you're feeling with each donation was how I felt with the mustache thing.
Well, this was the whole point, you know? Like, it wasn't just that I was like, you know, oh, let me involved, right? Because I had technically already chosen a hair color. Like, I let Twitter choose, like, 2 weeks ago or something like that.
Fuck Twitter.
But it's that Rifkin had the Hoi 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 shirts, he had the mustache thing, there's a third thing I forget about, but he's always the one that has these uncomfortable choices made for him by Twitch chat.
Hashtag
and that's
good
what
guys
I wanted. I wanted, okay? Like, and I just, the thing is though is that there's no, like, you definitely did not want to save it, you wanted to shave it. So people, of course, did the thing that you didn't want to do. Oh, the hammer thing.
Are inherently dicks, yes.
Yeah, exactly. But there's nothing that I am like, I've been apprehensive about all hair colors. I don't know which one I'm more terrified of.
I feel you would be most terrified of blue, to be honest.
I don't know. I don't know.
Oh, that
Like,
SCV gets picked off. That tank goes down.
Oof.
Lillekanin just fell apart here on the defense. He almost had a great defense set up for what was coming. I mean, the medevac was nearly out. That bunker was almost complete. Everything here was designed to buy him time. Now, if he pulls SCVs into this, of course, he still runs the risk of hitting Corrosive Filed, but, okay, Hero Marine kills 1 Ravager, but that's only 1. There's still 3 more where that came from.
There's a lot of damage, but it's not game-ending damage.
Oh, it traps Ravagers. This tank will
Yeah.
pop in a second. That'll add some nice damage.
Yeah, that'll be enough. So yeah, throw down a last Corsair Gear, try and get something, gets nothing. But it still was 8 workers killed, and he already had a pretty nice defense, simply because he reacted the way he did, which was a cancel on a hatchery, but it still was better than Lillekanin, who, I agree, it almost looked like he did mean a fake, and like he wanted the reaction more than he wanted the actual damage, but I felt like it was heavily dependent on not taking any damage in return, and he just did, so that's a problem. And now he will have to deal with mutas once again. I think it's what Elazer's going for. I think it's what you do in Arena, even if it isn't a game like this, and it's going to be difficult, as Lillekanin is not going to get an engineering bay, I'm gonna guess.
That's
He
a deal
never got one last
breaker.
game. Deal breaker against mutas. That was kind of funny.
Yeah.
Oh Jesus! Oh Jesus! Oh, I should larva injects.
Okay, well, the medevac getting as low as it is certainly alarming, but not over for him just yet. This, though, is gonna be at the tank. Whoa!
Oh.
Did you just see that? Did
Oh,
you just see
shit.
that? That was so buggy.
Oh shit!
That, okay, I want to actually talk about that. The reason that just happened is because Queens have 2 attacks on their ground attack. A lot of people have seen this happen with Zealots and other things. Like, you'll have a unit that gets, I don't know, the Adept transfers away from a Zealot, but it still swipes it with the second attack halfway across the map. The second attack will always connect in StarCraft 2, even if the first one, as long as the first one does. And even though the tank was safely inside the medevac, and there's no way that Queen should have been able to deal damage to it, it was the second attack that did. So that was, you could consider a bug, but in all aspects, that's how StarCraft 2's always worked. So I don't know if it's necessarily a bug. But that was certainly weird as fuck to see something die safely inside of a medevac. The only other time I've seen that happen, actually, was when the Ultralist Burrow Charge was in beta. And you could burrow charge a Marine that would get picked up by a medevac, and the Ultralist would charge the medevac, and it would stay alive, but its contents would die.
Well, I was gonna point out the nice focus 5 from Lillekanin on that one queen, but it seems like it's very small things that you would hope would add up, but I don't know if it's really going to for Lillekanin. The Spire's almost done. This time speed's a lot quicker too, so he's gonna have more than just roaches to rely on. Like, Lings can actually get surrounds on those tanks and whatnot. But if the hatchery dies, that will be a problem. And there's only 4 mutas, so I mean, you're talking kind of like this scenario happening last game without that butterfly effect.
Ooh.
See what happens here. Drones are pulled, but then some of them are pulled back.
I mean, damage here is kind of whatever. He didn't actually kill that many works just at the last second, but he did kill all the Lings. And the Lings are going to be the biggest thing to stop Marines from protecting the tanks from said mutas, but at the end of the day, there's not that many Marines here. And he's not producing Liberators, it's still medevac, so Lillekanin is probably going to die to mutas once again. Gets the hatchery, personal victory.
Okay, he's gonna tap out.
GG.
GG.
Look, personal victories sometimes really do matter, though. I strive for some bullshit. You're like, you know what? I lost that game, but I killed that Nexus, so fuck yeah, I win, even though I lost. But congratulations to Elazer. He'll 2-0 over to the semifinals. He'll play against Tefl next.
Zerg.
Yeah, I think that's gonna be the case for everything. Nice, nice smile, by the way. DFW donates $10 and says, "I want to have Zombie grow up half her hair in partner look, so white because I obviously meant the cat." Oh, he wants your hair to match your cat. So $10 going towards white. White.
I think I actually may be most excited for white, because as someone who has always been interested in wish she could cosplay, white's always been that cool color.
Well, I'm wondering, would you go white or would you go more like platinum with it? Like because there's straight white, but then platinum's a little bit more like gray silver territory.
I don't know.
Well, I'm just thinking it'd be funny because if you went straight white and you laid down with your cat, at least you know your cat hair won't get in your hair and cause trouble. Because it'll just all blend in.
Yeah, yeah, I've always been worried about that.
I know, right? Every time I go to get new bed sheets, my mom, I'm always like, she'll call me and she'll be like, make sure you don't get a dark color because the cat hair will show up on it. I'm like, shut the fuck up. I'll get black if I want. Anyways, so yeah, Elazer versus Steph will be the first semifinals. Bottom half of the bracket, Keen plays versus Guru. He is our last Terran Hope. TLO plays against Zugliang at the moment as well. So, highly likely to see ZvZ for the rest of this. But that's okay, because you know what? At least we got to see some not ZvZ going into it. So that's nice. Concession? I don't anyways,
Yeah.
small break, guys. We'll see you in 2 minutes. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Corsair Cup. It is game number 1 in a best of 3, best of 1, excuse me. Spawning here on the top left side, playing for Invasion Esports. It's gonna be the green Terran player, Akron.
In the bottom right, as the red Protoss, it is Catatonic.
All right, I usually tell the tale of Catatonic. You tell the tale of Catatonic.
Okay, well, I guess for the YouTube gods, she's like a big fan of Crank, and that's why she's on Team Cranky, which is funny because Akron thought that, I guess, that meant that she was Crank, but it's not true. Yeah, she showed up in a lot of these tournaments and usually gets knocked out in the first round, you know, to be honest. But it's still cool to see her sign up for everything. And yes, we're using that pronoun correctly, which I guess.
Oh my god, is that a girl?
We learned, like, I guess maybe like
God.
1 or 2 casts after casting her for the
single?
first time. I don't know, Merle.
She sounds dreamy.
Yeah, totally. I mean, she plays Protoss though, so.
So what you're saying is undateable. Understood.
Literally undateable.
Shout out, by the way, to Gnomeskull for the 3-month resub, and the jury is in, and it seems like not a single person cares about the clapping. So it is strictly the fuddy-duddies on a C2 cast that are upset about it.
It's like the same couple of people, right? And, you know, the
It
whole,
is.
like...
It's one guy, I swear, it's like his life. He's like, oh my god, I hope somebody reads this message where I make fun of Rifkin and Zombie. Because I swear to God, if nobody reads this message, my life isn't worth anything. So I have to post on every video to increase the chances that somebody sees my very impertinent message.
So, like, first they decide, like, they get, like, the cheap blows out there, you know? Like, we don't know what we're talking about. Like, lack of game knowledge, right? Because you can just say that for anyone and everyone believes it. Right. But then, like, that isn't really working. They're not getting a lot of, like, yeah, you're totally right and whatever. So now they're gonna move on to something else. So I'm sure they mentioned, like, our looks at some point, I'm guessing. Oh, that's dirty. Oh, that's mean.
So I personally love this move. I've actually done this several times on the stream recently, but the way I do it personally is you put it down here and put it over so it's less easy to see. Because if you do this, and Catatonic, for whatever reason, just happens to float this direction with her mothership core and you lose that SCV, this really screws you. Like, this really, really screws you.
Yeah. Well, it looks like she's not going to go over there to scout, put a pylon down, or anything like that. She's just taking care of her nexus, so that's going to get up and it's going to start producing Widow Mines. Now, the real trick is, you know, seeing the Widow Mines. You know, it sucks you don't see the factory, but as long as you can see the Widow Mines and not let them actually burrow in your mineral line, then, I mean, oh well, the factory's in your base, it looks kind of silly.
Oh, and Catatonic is unfortunately choosing a tech path currently that does not lend towards detection. If you've got a Stargate opener and you open wrongly with a Phoenix, that's fine. It can still scoop up the Widow Mine. If you open with a Robo, you get an Observer up. But because she's going for what I'm assuming was going to be a lot of Adepts, unfortunately, first off, there's a bunker down here, but the map can still be abused. I'll talk about that in a moment. But this leads to no detection, so she will just bleed out in her mineral line, which is a huge problem.
Yeah.
Now, the bunker on this low ground on every other map will stop the pylon attack from coming. What is retarded is even with the changes, and I mean, this cliff was added to stop this from happening, even with the changes, you can still put a pylon down here out of range of the bunker and reach that depot to break the wall. So the pylon attack can still work. Now, it looks like she's got some idea what's going on, so while she's not going to be able to stop this first Widow Mine, the Observer should be out in time to stop the second or the third.
She did. That's what she killed with the platoon charge.
Oh, my bad, I missed that.
The second Widow Mine. Yeah. Yeah, it's gonna get burrowed. Ooh. Not anything.
Well, mildly annoying, not a huge threat.
Yeah. Well, that was the big thing, is that, like, she saw the Widow Mine go into her mineral line, which I was really worried was not going to happen. I think that was the intention of the Reaper, you know, like, you you send in the Widowmine, I send in the Reaper, and maybe they're a little distracted. It just didn't work out that way. So while it looked really silly and it looked like a mistake, I mean, the point is nothing actually happened, and hopefully this Widowmine doesn't accidentally get something.
This is something that can actually end games, though, because the problem is, like, if let's say Catatonic was going for Twilight Council tech, or just a quick blink all in or anything like that, DTs even, like, this would have just stopped her dead in her tracks. She would never have the money to build anything in time, and boy, I've seen people just leave. Not my games personally, but, like, we've cast a couple games where people have just, like, left upon scouting that factory and said, nope, fuck it, I went the wrong direction with this. So, nice recovery from Catatonic. Now, the Liberator comes in, and this is going to be annoying because she can't quite deal with it. I'd say right now it's not too pertinent to deal with it, though. It's not the biggest threat where it currently is. She can still mine off of most of the mineral patches comfortably, but no Stargate means no easy way to shoo it away. Go on, get.
Yeah, unfortunately, that is a pretty perfect position. That's where a pylon has to be put down. That a sacrifice of 2 probes, basically. So actually, I have to get it down. Looks like she's actually just going to kill it the old-fashioned way. So she loses a probe and a single stalker, so not really that bad. That's fine to do as well. And I mean, everything looks like it's going fine. You know, Akron, he's kind of just been going for like very light pressure though. So this is just simply like a test of can you react to very simple stuff. And well, she passed the test, but now it's to do with the macro game. And unfortunately, even though Catatonic has been doing fine, like defending wise, like taking care of the Widowmine, taking care of the Liberator, the macro has slipped. You know, she is at 34 probes compared to a Terran on 47 with mules and 3 CC.
So, just to touch base on something that happened there too, since people in chat were bringing it up briefly, more Liberator, denial on the main. When I was mentioning the factory going down and possibly screwing you, a big aspect of it is it's not your factory in the Widowmines not making Widowmines that's the problem, it's the fact that it delays your starport. You can't do follow-up harass like with these Liberators. So, again, just if that proxy had gone wrong, if the SCV had never got to complete it, this game could look very intensely different. And not because of the Widowmines, but because of the Liberators. Akron does take a third while this goes on, just kind of extending his lead here just a bit. We look at the income graph, and you can see soaringly just how large it's gotten, thanks to those Liberators. Catatonic's probe count is kind of low, and that's not entirely due to kills, but it doesn't help that the Liberators did get some kills.
Yeah, it's definitely more they messed up her macro, and that's, you know, that's something we don't usually like to talk about when we're watching, like, the tip-top of pro gamers. You just assume that they've got everything under control whilst dealing with harassment. But it is a big part, like actually keeping up with your you know, Chrono boosting the correct things, although in the case of Legacy of the Void, it's not as difficult, and actually continuing to pump up probes as well as take a third base, which during that very, like, heavy harassment but not heavy pressure, you could have taken a third base, absolutely, like, no problem, you know? She didn't have to warp in as many stalkers as she did to take care of it. But now she needs those stalkers, for sure, to take care of these medevacs that's dropped. Unfortunately, does not have blink, so this should be able to get out, at least. Maybe kill a couple of workers, but just get out.
She does have some nice pylon coverage, actually, though, mostly on account of those Liberators, so should those stalkers have not been able to respond for whatever reason, the Mothership Core overcharge would certainly help things. I think a lot of this going forward, though, for Catatonic is going to be a little bit awkward. Like, she's definitely behind in the macro game. She's behind in that third. If she wants to turn this into an all-in with those Blink Stalkers, the thing I fear most is that Akron's actually got upgrades already, and his army supply is quite large. So, I mean, it's going to take some godlike, you know, parting at his peak levels of macro to actually, or micro, to take on an army like this.
Yeah. This should be a game-ending push. The Observer sees it first. And yeah, that's even with all the Widowmines. Now there's
Oh no!
So you didn't activate into Widowmines.
At least fight in the range of the overcharge. Mothership Core does go down, Woodbines go off, and that's going to be, sadly, the end of Catatonic's life, it would appear.
Yes.
And Blink wasn't done.
I know, right? Like, at least that could have been done in some cool Blink micro, but not so. Looks like he's probably surprised he's on a third base. You know, I guess the Void Frost takes some pretty quick ones, but
yeah,
it's not Scan.
I mean, big love goes to Catatonic. She always shows up. She always tries her best, and it's always nice to see somebody dedicated to StarCraft. And that's the thing too. Like, can we just talk about how we know Catatonic's name? It's not because she's a girl, but because she just regularly shows up in these things. It's only like recently we learned she was a girl. That has nothing to do with the fact that, again, if you play in these cups regularly, even if you don't win, you can still get well known here on BaseTradeTV.
Yeah. Okay, so that's gonna put us into now Akron versus Ruff
Ooh.
on Invader, which is another best of one.
Aww, Overwatch closed beta will end on April 25th.
Yeah, that's actually what that Discord message was that pinged my phone.
Aww.
I know, right? What are we gonna do in Austin?
Well, it hit 100 at least, so I'm pretty happy about that. But
fancy.
none of that's gonna like carry over.
Right? I'm never gonna I give up. I'm not.
I was pretty close to the Masters. I got to expert 4, and then I started falling back down. Stupid cranking Olivia, God. But I was really hoping to hit Masters before the beta goes down. I don't know if I could do that now.
I just wanted an epic skin, legendary skin, because I didn't get my